$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, break of 7 seals. Try it again, brothers and sisters. I guess they didn't want this to get out because the power went out. Guess it was out for about an hour or two. So this will be much shorter than I expected. So I'm having technical difficulties and had a power outage. Okay, brothers, let's get straight to the presentation. Again, $5,000. They haven't stepped up. It's been out there for many months, years, I believe.
Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement. And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Anyway, brothers and sisters, they do it all the time. They part of the book, just me other. They mention part of it, jump over passages. They never mention the message of the covenant. They tell you Elijah's the last one, but it tells you that the message of the covenant suddenly comes to this temple. Never mention the fact that the reward for 400 years of Holocaust here, going home, return, and tell you exactly who, where, and when. Never mention that. Why? Most grievous chastisement, brothers and sisters. Let's move on.
Section 1, Fundamental Principles of Islam. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. 1. I, Allah, am the best knower. 2. This book, there is no doubt in it, is a guide to those who keep their duty. 3. Who believe in the unseen and keep up prayer and spend out of what we have given them. 4. And who believe in that which has been revealed to thee and that which was revealed before thee, and of the hereafter they are sure.
Well, this is checking my sound.
$174. Those who conceal aught of the book that Allah has revealed and take for it a small price, they eat nothing but fire into their bellies, and Allah will not speak to them on the day of resurrection, nor will he purify them, and for them is a painful chastisement. 175 Those are they who by error for guidance and chastisement for forgiveness, how bold they are to challenge the fire. 176 That is because Allah has revealed the book with truth. And surely those who disagree about the book go far in opposition.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flagler as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is, you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
Yes, sir.
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity. So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa maybe 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. And we love you. Go ahead.
One more time, brother.
4. And I heard other voice out of the heavens saying, Come you out, the people of me, out of her, in order that not you should share together to the sins of her, and out of the plagues of her in order that not you should receive. 5 Because were glued together of her the sins until the heaven, and called to mind the God the unjust acts of her. 6 Give you back to her as also she have back, and double you the double according to the works of her, in the cup to which she mingle you to her double. 7 As many as she glorified herself and lived unreigned in luxury, so much give you to her torment and mourning. Because in the heart of her she is saying that I am sitting queen, and widow not I am, and mourning not I should see. 8 Through this in one day will come the plagues of her, death and mourning and famine, and in fire she will be burned down, because strong Lord the God the having judged her. 9 And they will weep and they will strike themselves upon her the kings of the earth, the with her having committed fornication and having lived unreigned in luxury, whenever they may be looking at the smoke of the firing of her.
Well, brothers and sisters, that speaks for itself, and that little shit show you should have saw, that has nothing to do with Master Muhammad. Remember, he's saying that this is supposed to be Savior's Day with honoring Master Muhammad. The less is what Master Muhammad said on this subject. He says that those are 100% wicked, all of them. 100% wicked, 100%, 99.9. They cannot be reformed and removed from the planet. And so it's all about the will of Allah. Is that the will of Allah? Is that the will of Allah there? So Ishmael knows better than Master Muhammad? Or Master Muhammad misled us, he changed his mind? Let's just say they're 100% wicked, cannot be reformed, and be moved from the plant. We cannot get along with them, but he calls him our brother. Here, where it says, they said, for our conscience, let's forgive them. You don't want to see nothing happen to America. He says, come out of her. Get the hell out of here. So you don't partake of her plagues. And said, do them double as done to you. Don't forgive them. It's a command. Give them double what it did to you. Vengeance. Are they representing? Remember, now here, this is the God talking. And he's also saying they're 100% wicked. He's saying, oh, no. I say, we ain't. So what's going on here? This is the God talking. You see what he says? No, we ain't going to do that. You don't see it happen. We ain't going nowhere. That means just come out her name, her language, her religion, right? And that will protect you from the plagues. Because remember, it says come out her so you don't receive those plagues. That's what it says. Come out of her so you don't see those plagues. Got it? Come out of her so she'll play. They said come out of her means come out of her religion, name, culture. Stay here, just come out of that. Right? So based on what they're saying, if you do that, you had to go with those plagues. But I remember COVID, and we got a picture around. Why was they running around with a goddamn mask on? Why Farrakhan got a big old mask on? Why are people dropping like flies? I mean, they was out of name, out of religion, out of culture. They claim, right? See the bullshit? I don't have to keep it short, brothers and sisters. This is just every day. This was it shut the whole power down today, right in the middle. I guess I kind of saw it coming because I had a little preview talking about something, and then it went out. So, my wife said, "You must be psychic." Right? I told her, I said, I went out. I do the cooking, all that stuff, right? So I went and cooked a whole lot of stuff. The fridge is loaded, man. Made some. I make these rice cakes and potato cakes and stuff. Like hamburgers, whatever. Anyway, refrigerator's loaded. So I said, "Now you ain't got to worry about anything. It's right here. Everything you want." If she likes, watch. As soon as we do that, the powers will go out. I told her, that's what you said. And then we was out walking. And we're out walking this particular path. We used to work another path. It was a lot. I was getting in drugs with people. They had dogs, and I don't play that. And I got conflicts with people. So we had another path. Going for over a year. No dogs, nothing. So that's why I said, look, this is good, man. I said, we've been going in for about a year and a half now. Not one dog. The next week, dog. We got that dog. We got that dog. So he said, you must be psychic or something. I said, well, I don't know. Maybe psycho. They move on. In that period, I'm not going to talk about it today, but let's move on, brothers and sisters. Okay, Death Star. Ain't talking about Darth Vader or Star Wars. No. Matt Trauma has, that's the real Death Star. That's not fantasy. Death Star. That's what we're going to talk about, brothers and sisters. It will. We'll talk another side of it. It's just two sides to that wheel. It's not two sides of the wheel, but two sides of that story. So we're going to talk about both sides of the story today. And I had some other information in the presentation, but the power went out, and when they came back on, that was missing. So I'm just going to talk around. I'm not going to take time to go ahead and put it back in there. Okay, what are we at here? Oh, the wheel. Okay, first of all, we'll clear this up about Ezekiel's will. Now, remember, scriptures are under seal. Seal. Now, Muhammad said it too, they're under veil. He didn't break that veil. He talked the scriptures from the point of view of the lesson that Master Muhammad gave him. That was the spirit. He had that spirit. He talked from the spirit that Master Muhammad gave him. He didn't break the seals, never claimed to break the seals. That means he was guessing what those things meant. I'm not taking that away from him because that's what he had to work with. He had to work with it, but he called it a poison book because the sealed Bible, right? The sealed part of it is a poison book to us because it's sealed. But it wouldn't, it stays until a messenger of covenant come and break those seals, or the lamb come and break those seals. And says no one can do that but that person. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. So now it's being unsealed. So now we know what it means because Ezekiel's will, that has nothing to do with Master Muhammad's will. It's all about not look like a lion, look like a lamb, no. The will doesn't have to look like animals. It has nothing to do with that. So I'm going to show you right now what it was actually talking about. Because they're actually talking about Gog and Magog, Adam, how powerful. They talk about in the Quran, so when Gog and Magog came loose, nobody could stop them but God himself. Go over the whole world and nobody could stop them. They were so powerful. That's what Ezekiel's looking at there. Oh, dreadful will. So I'm going to show you. Because if you understand, see, it's sealed Bible. I mean, once you, this angel, which is Arabic for gospel, right? Once it's broken, there's a key there. And that key unlocks everything else. But Daniel has a key also. You see here? Now it says, one was like this is in the angel now, right? What you call revelations. One was like a lion, one was like a calf, face of a man, eagle. That same thing Ezekiel's talking about. Well, this represents the key to the angel. So let me show you a little more. Okay. Oh boy, it messed that up too. Anyway, let me see what happens. Let me see what happens. Okay. You put the whole thing together, and that's the key. Your spirits, we spread across all the nations. Spirits represents us. But we got corrupted because they raped 4,500 years ago. So it says our nation was corrupted because they was under control of all the nations, and they raped our women, right, incessantly. So half the population of our nation are demons. That's what a demon is. See, they don't know. You add fire, they wouldn't know what a demon is if they hit smack on the face, because he's a demon himself. Demon's not some spiritual being. Demon is half devil, half man, demon. And demons, what demons are, if you understand the angel, demons are skin folk. Right? The original on the outside, they'd be black on the outside and devil on the inside. Right? But it also could be, right, they can be other than, they don't have to be Caucasian. Well, anyway, just leave it like that. Keep it simple. Right? So they're seed of the devil. No matter what their complexion is, if their complexion is other than white, they're seed of the devil. That means, right, they're like wolves in lamb clothing. That's what a demon is. If Farrakhan's a demon because he says follows the devil. And we can prove it. Just Google it. President Clark. So he's a demon. It says, it says in Legion. It says, my name is Legion. Louis Eugene Grounds, the NOI backwards. We can't make that up. And he says many. So I'm not going into detail. I was going to spend more time with that. Get into on this rock I built my church. I mean, explain it. It's all right there. Anyway, I'm not trying to convince those people that's at the head of his ass and keep that one eyes closed. I'm not trying to open your eyes. Keep them closed. Anyway, so that's right. So what happened is that you follow what it says about this key, right? And you get this. So now what it does is going in and explain. See, the Caucasian nations was eagle, and then you break that down who that is, right? Then you find who Adam is, who Eve, because it explains who everyone is, who the Sunnis are, who the jinn are. Explain all those. Once you break this down, it tells who everyone is. So if you understand the angel law, you're not confused about who who the jinn are, who the devils are, who Bliss is, who Esau is. Everybody, Balaam, it's all there. Let's move on. See, here you go again, right? Here it is. Here's the seven spirits. Now, the thing is that it's approximately 34 million blacks in America. But let's say 17 million. Why I say 17 million? It wasn't 17 million back then because he was looking to the future. He'd be, in the time of the end, it'd be 17 million original people in America. The rest are demons. Is that a coincidence? Go back and check your census. There were no 17 million back then in the 30s. See? So here it is, right? Now, the face of man represents Oriental people. This represents Asian people. This represents the African people. This Europeans, and this represents us, spirits, right? Now, I didn't put everything right, but on the top two wings that represents the Islamic part of that nation. So here is the Islamic part of this nation, Asian nation, which are the Arabs, the golden calf, Sunnism, right? I just highlight that, but the top two would be gold here, top two would be gold here, the top two would be gold here, right? It's just short here, I just didn't, right? And so, anyways, move on. Okay. Do it here. See, I do it here to go. This kind of got messed up a little bit when the power went out because it went back to old version or something. But anyway, you can see that's a gold. This be going by. So now, I'm not going to try to explain this, but anyway, the Shia, they're original people. They like Master Muhammad. See, there is rod of iron. They like him, but they occasion on the outside, internal side, but on the internal side, they're original, right? So they're original, right? And you got the same. So that's what you got here. And this is the jinn here. The Sunni Arabs, right? They're the golden calf. They're also the jinn. Anyway, I'm not going to explain all that right now. I'm going to get to the main point, brothers and sisters. Presentation explains all of that. See here, this is that wheel. This is that wheel that Ezekiel saw. See, and because here it is, the Europeans control all the nations. That's why the wheel's so dreadful. And Satan is ruling. Remember, Satan is God of this world. He's the one sitting on the throne. He's the one that the Lamb took the book from. Because you have to ask yourself, no one in heavens or the earth or under the earth could break those seals but him. And he took the book from the person on the throne, but the person on the throne was the God. Then why would he not be able to understand the book that he wrote himself? See, so that show that that's not him. That's Satan sitting on the throne. He took the book from him, and because they had the book for 2,000. Who had the book? Who had the book 2,000 years? They had the book. They had Revelations. That's another side. He's sitting right there. He took the book from them and broke the seals. So Satan's was on the throne, and here's America. America, put it over here. Here's Britain. Britain had dominated Europe, the Asian countries. Arabia, India. That's no coincidence. They dominated that, right? And Europe colonized African countries. This is actual fact. They colonized African countries. It explains all. I mean, it's like a miracle book, right? And we say, well, here's Russia here. Remember, this is Europe here. This is Russia here. Right? And Russia, ideologically, had control of the Oriental countries. No, why not? Where did communism come from? Russia. And that's China, right? Vietnam, Korea. They got it from Russia. Ideological control of them. And who had control of us? America. Right there, brothers. But this is the golden crowns they talk about. These are the Shia. They didn't have part of that. They didn't have any part of that. They didn't occupy or colonize anybody. the Islamic part of the European countries. Okay, and the Catholicism part is the bottom part. So the Islamic part is that part, and right here, that's where, but they're Catholics down here. Let's move on. I'm not going to go into detail, but through the crowns below the, and that's another story together. But remember this share. This is when this was JCPOA, but I'm not going to get to that, brothers and sisters. Get to mention. That's another point I want to talk. What's it? I didn't. Okay, this is an old version, brothers and sisters. I took all this stuff out, so anyway, I'm not going to explain this. I'm just going on. Well, I might as well speak to it a little bit. This is JCPOA was throwing the foot of the nations. This is witnesses. Witness not Elijah and Farrakhan. That's bullshit. They were throwing the foot of the nations under the nations. The JCPOA, Trump killed it, so it started moving up. And now at this point, they're at war. What's happening right now? That's where we're in a pause right now. But that's where they are right now. They'll be at war with America. Who's over there? Who's over there? Britain, America, Gog and Magog, and falls Israel. Is that a coincidence? And that's who, in Syria, it said it wouldn't happen if you read the fifth seal, it wouldn't happen until after they took down Syria, right? Okay, so now that's where they are right now, conflict. So when it finishes, this is where they'll be if I have the whole thing here. They will kick them out, and they would have control of the Middle East. Move on, brothers. This is much more than I wanted to. I took all this out because I just wanted to show you who the will was. Well, something's wrong here, boss. So maybe I better go look at this because it's showing me too much here. Well, anyway, this would America and Britain get kicked out of the Middle East. They attack us. Bosses gets taken out.
Five. There shall not any man be able to stand before the four. And I heard other voice out of the heavens saying, Come you out, the
Okay, bro, since things got lost, right, when it shut down, so I'm going to proceed. Okay, I have to talk it through. Here, after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise and go over to Jordan, now and all thy people, and unto the land which I do give to thee, even to the children of Israel. It's saying, and Joshua is the one that comes after Aaron. They don't want to talk about it. That's messing the covenant. They never talk about Joshua. Aaron, Farrakhan, he's the last one. Elijah's the last one. So they don't want to go past Elijah, he's the last messenger. And they don't want to go past Aaron. Nothing after Aaron. And it's very clear. It's very clear. Anyway, let me move on, brothers and sisters. Somebody's trying to call me here. So remember, Joshua comes after. He's the one that takes you home. That's the mention of the covenant. That's the real Messiah. Anyway, let's move on. And therefore goes out of Jordan and said, come out. Farrakhan said, you're going to stay here. It clearly says, we're leaving, right? Over to and thou, all that people in the land which I should give even to the children of Israel. That land that's why I don't mention the covenant, because that's what the covenant is. Return home. Every place that the soles of your feet shall tread upon, I've given to you, and as I said unto Moses. So they leave Aaron out of the picture, because Aaron wasn't a follower of Elijah. I mean, after Elijah left, he was a betrayer. So he leave him out of the picture. They jump up past him, go right to Joshua, right? And from the wilderness to Lebanon, even into the great river, Euphrates, right? That's Arabia. Look on the map, right? See? And unto the great sea, toward the going down of the sun shall be your coast. All of it. And we're going home. We're going to take it back. Move on, brothers and sisters.
Five. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. 6. Be strong and of a good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give them. 7. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law, which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein, for then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. 9. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage, be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest.
So who is this Joshua, brothers and sisters? Who's this Joshua? You don't talk about Joshua. He get Aaron, you don't talk it. He says Elijah is Moses. He says Aaron, then who's this Joshua? You mention him. He's going to take us home. But Aaron doesn't never make it out of the promise, and he dies in the wilderness. Why? Come on, brothers and sisters.
16. And they answered Joshua, saying, All that thou commandest us we will do, and whithersoever thou sendest us, we will go. 17. According as we hearkened unto Moses in all things, so will we hearken unto thee, only the Lord thy God be with thee, as he was with Moses. 18. Whosoever he be that doth rebel against thy commandment, and will not hearken unto thy words in all that thou commandest him, he shall be put to death. Only be strong and of a good courage.
Joshua represents the will of Allah, because they said if you don't obey him, he's put to death, because he's going to command a exceedingly great army. Right? Any resistance will be put to death. Wherever he rebel against that command, will not hearken to thy words, and all, everything, complete. Okay? He's not talking about being a dictator. He's not talking about that. He's building an army, and the angel is the truth. If you're against it, it says any resistance will be destroyed. But you have to understand this, because we're one body. The body works together. I'm not going to try to explain it, brothers and sisters, because they got the way you think it. I got to move on. I want to get to the main point here. We'll talk about it all the time. It tells you right there. Isn't that fire coming? He's a liar, a thief. That's why he robbed the nation. That's why he got cursed with a curse. Come on, brothers and sisters.
94. They said, O Dhul Karnain. Gog and Magog do mischief in the land. May we then pay thee tribute on (96). Even when Gog and Magog are let loose and they sally forth from every elevated place. 97. And the true promise draws nigh, then lo, the eyes of those who disbelieve will be fixedly open. Oh, woe to us! Surely we were heedless of this, nay, we were unjust.
That's the will. Gog and Magog, how dreadful it would be if they're raised up. That's the will that Ezekiel saw. The dreadful will. Look what it done to us. I'm having technical problems again, but this might not work. Everything's hanging up. Then I want this presentation out, brothers, and I haven't got to the main subject yet.
(14). Happy the washing the robes of them, in order that will be the authority of them upon the wood of the life, and to the gates they might enter into the city. 15. Outside the dogs and the druggers and the fornicators and the murderers and the idolaters and everyone liking and doing lie. 17. And the Spirit and the bride are saying, Be you coming, and the hearing let him say, Be you coming, and the thirsting let him be coming, the willing let him take water of life free gift. 18. I am bearing witness to everyone the hearing the words of the prophecy of the little book this, if ever anyone should impose upon them, will impose the God upon him the plagues the having been written in the little book this. 19. And if ever anyone should take off from the words of the little book of the prophecy this, will take off the God the part of him from the wood of the life and out of the city the holy, of the having been written in the little book this.
Explain something here, brothers and sisters. See, that's my main study. I'm getting into the will. And so the angel too. See right there, it says, you don't play with any part of this. It's like, now, Master Muhammad built his will. And it was told he built it off the coast of Japan and the Japanese palace. And the angel bear witness that. I didn't show that earlier. Maybe I showed it. I didn't mention it earlier when I showed you the key, right? Bear witness that. Because I was mild surprised too when I saw that, because it says specifically that's where he would be, the Japanese. That's where the will was built, off the coast of Japan. Okay. Now, what if this is a will? Okay, let me just cut to the chase here. So this was supposed to take a while to build this up, but I'm gonna have to cut it short because, like I said, I lost almost 6 hours today. Well, I'm an hour and a half out, and then freezing up now again. Oh boy, this probably not going to work, brothers and sisters. Hold on. Let me see what's going on here now. Really interfering. They really want this presentation. I must stop slowing my camera down, everything. Ooh, this was someday. Someday, brothers and sisters. And we got to the main subject yet. Okay. So say for instance, now, okay, you got two sides of the brain. I'm not going into details. But to emphasize that, right? Trying to see if I can make this. Dr. Shabazz emphasized the right side, spatial side. Dr. Shabazz, Dr. Yakub, technical side, analytical side. Master Muhammad represents the analytical side. Highly technical. Analytical side, very technical. So he's the God on that side. It's like when you separate them. The being into male and female gender, right? The male had more strength than the original being that it came from. And the female had more beauty than the original being came from. Because separate now, because now, like I say, all that is focused on one side, but you got just enough beauty. The male sides have enough beauty to be able to communicate with the female side. Like we have breasts, right? We don't need them. And she has just enough strength to communicate with the male side. Right? But she has the same thing, and I hope to explain this, brothers and sisters. I'm going to take more time, but like I said, because of things happening, I'm going to give you a short version. So you have another. So now, because this happened, you have a being that's not ambidextrous anymore. See, the Levites are pretty much not ambidextrous, but you have a being that is highly technical, but just enough spatial, right? Highly analytical to be able to communicate with spatial. And spatial is highly spatial. So now the spatial is much stronger. The original being came from, he's much brighter, brighter. Because that's the being it is. The being is the spatial, and it is the technical. Okay. So that's what you have, Master from me. So he's a technical God, highly technical, super technical. So he built that these devil technical too. They but they can't match it because his brain is way, right? They can't match it. No, they can't figure it out. It's more right. But it says the messenger of the covenant, right? He'd be more spatial than anybody on the planet. He'd be the most spatial, and he'd be most. Master Muhammad be most technical. So he built a will that nobody can touch. They look at it, they marvel at it. And then the spatial is the angel, because nobody could touch that book but him. Two sides. Spatial brain, Analytical. No, that's why I said no one could touch it, not even the God. No one could do that. Yep, not even the Lamb. But but they could communicate with each other. That's what's going on here. I told you it's a mental war. Right? Okay. However, now say for instance, he built that. They say he had Japanese pilots, because Japanese are very technical too. I'm not going into detail. If you ever been studying for years, you understand why I'm saying that. Because it explains all that. Right? You have to get to the Mongols, and I explain all that kind of stuff, right? But the thing is how he's very technical. So he got a technical marvel, Death Star, more technical. Nobody in this world can match it. No one. And then you got these technical people that operate it. Now, what if you put people there that, well, they're nonchalant, didn't really care, wouldn't pay attention? You think it wouldn't work, because it'd be running into stuff, be crashing, the devil would get hold to it. See what I'm saying? He couldn't have that. He had to have people that's on the case 100%. Because they haven't been able to touch that plane, because he's not piloting all those planes. He got his people piloting it. See? You got that, right? Okay. Now on the spatial side, you need priests. They have to be 100% too. Otherwise, they get everything all messed up. Because both of those are the weapons. You got a tactical weapon and a spatial weapon. The Lamb comes spatial weapon, his word. He comes in a physical, technical weapon. That's why I said the Lamb walked alone. Because he couldn't find anybody, right, to help him, to help, right? Because they didn't care, didn't give a damn, half-ass, and it would destroy the weapon. Because both of them were weapons. You see what I'm saying? So he couldn't find anybody. So he had to, right? So he had to go in and take and do it himself. That's what it's talking about. Because that's why it says right there, you can't mess with any word. You can't play with this. Just like those people, they can't go, oh, I'm gonna have a beer, or I'm gonna go. No, they have to be, because those planes have to be operate 100%, not 99%, 100%. There's not been one flaw in it yet. And that's where it's have to operate. Otherwise, it's not going to work. It's going to crash and burn. It's our people's lifeline. And it was protected, it was sealed, so it would be protected. So nobody would be able to mess with it, nobody corrupt it, because it had to be delivered a certain way, resonance, certain time, resonance, right? Correct. Right and exact. He said you can't fuck around with a word. Not even a word. Because it said you'll be chastised if you do. Because it's a spatial marvel. No one could touch it. They had it for 2,000 years, they couldn't touch it. I've been looking around, I've seen other people make all comments, no one's even got anything right about it. Nothing. You understand? That's what that's about. That's why he said he had to do it by himself. Because he couldn't find anybody. Could he care less? Oh, I take a break. Well, maybe. No. Because if those pilots had the attitude, we wouldn't have a wheel up there. It'd been crashed and burned a long time ago. They had that attitude. Because Matt Muhammad's not proud of those fields, all those planes. I have much more to say, but I'm going to leave it alone, brothers and sisters. You can't get people to understand. They will understand in a minute. Like I said, experience is the best teacher of these scars. And the engine's all about fire. It's either going to motivate you or it's going to burn you. And that plane, nobody can resist it. We're going to show a couple of examples of that too. So I probably need to just cut this real short and talk about it tomorrow when I get full length, because I'm not going to give it the justice it needs. But I plan on spending a couple of hours with this, and it's a wild day here, brothers and sisters. Wow. Mother playing Master Prophet Muhammad, Angel. What's he there for? He has no idea. Ain't he calls himself the Messiah. But now he's shitting and pissing in the bag, been doing it since 55. He can't wipe his own ass right now. He's totally incapacitated. But he's going to get a jolt. He's going to get a jolt of energy in a minute. How's that going to turn? Well, I don't know. We'll see. He comes with fire. So I couldn't bring fire on the earth. He comes with fire, angel. It's going to burn up everything that's not inspired by it. Touch, you better be moving. You move fast. You move fast as fire, otherwise it's going to burn your ass. He telling people don't listen. So I couldn't bring fire upon the earth. That's what angel is, fire. It's all about fire. It's burning up everything. It's burning up all falsehood and the lies. It's burning it all up. The world's on fire right now. Well, it's all activated. It's all fire. That's the quality side of it. I told you the physical side of it. The ways of injury get possibly 50 years. The quality side of it. It's burning people up. Some people it's burning up. They don't even realize it's being burned up. You don't understand. Can't play with this. That person, and they'll tell you, don't play with it. It's fire. It's either going to burn you or it's going to inspire you. If it don't inspire you 100%, then you're going to be burned to the degree that you're not inspired. So if you only inspire 80%, you're going to get 20% burns. You got to start moving. Once I got no seal and I realized what's happening, I knew I'd be drop this thing or just move it. And I've been doing it ever since. I stop. Can't play with it. You know, and the Levites, I don't know, they have a problem. Can't get motivated. That's why I said a lot of them going to be lost for lack of knowledge. Tribulation, all about fire. Hey, man, finally got that technical will. Awesome. You can't touch it. They said thousands of years ahead of them. No, it's a million years. You can take a gorilla, and a million years from now, you still cannot teach the gorilla ABCs. So it's not million years. No, they can never. If they stay here another trillion years, they can never figure it out because they don't have the brain power to do it. They're not that technical. Very technical. But they don't have the discipline that goes with it. They never be able to do it. They can't. It's just way beyond. Well, form's great. We can't. No. They had an angel for 2,000 years. They couldn't touch it. To make all things new. New technical world, the new spatial world. Now, anything that's why it says. Why they say that? No, I should have printed that. It says no mind can imagine or heart or whatever, because it's way beyond their ability. It's like a gorilla, he couldn't understand TV, no matter what you do. So the Lamb and the God both are bringing in a world that's totally spatial, spatial beyond anything they can close to imagine. That's why it says no heart can imagine or whatever. I can't remember how to say it. The being it is, the creativity side is spatial. Technical side, Analytical side, that's analytical side, that's the is. Creativity, bring it into existence. Work together. That's whole world, the minds, it's all mental war. And both sides come, both sides. Both sides. Working together. Okay, I'm gonna play this, brothers and sisters. Now, what you can see here is, this was, I thought it was a few months, but they say last year. Now, this is a UFO. They call it something else now. And you're going to show a picture of it, because they had to send a thing. I saw the send thing, I think it came about 2 weeks ago. So I followed it, I watched it, right? And they were showing videos, and there was this UFO. It was over in Arabia, over there. Where all this stuff's going on, right? And it was moving around. And American forces saw it, and they shot a Hellfire. They're going to show it on here, the video. They shot a Hellfire missile. That's when their powerful missiles at it, and it hit it. And didn't do any damage to it at all. The thing took off like it was like a mosquito bite or something, probably less than that. They hardly knows it was there. And they couldn't figure it out. I'm gonna show you the video here. See, that's why I said this war he's involved. It was over there. Remember? That's where the war is going to resume in a minute. This is where they saw it over there. I told you he will not allow them to radiate nuclear war, because the planet's ours. He's not going to let them destroy our inheritance. That's why they keep seeing these UFOs around all their nuclear sites and everything else. And then once they leave, nothing works. So let's go ahead and show it, brothers and sisters.
I want to queue up a video that I've been given. And as before it starts, I'm going to describe, this was taken October 30th of 2024. This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb, or this object, off the coast of Yemen. You'll see that another MQ-9 launched a Hellfire missile. You cannot see that drone. And so, I'm not going to explain it to you. You'll see exactly what it does. This is when it zoomed out, so you can still see it traveling. So, Mr. Knapp, do you have you heard about, events like this occurring? And what information might you have?
I have heard about events like this. I have heard about this event. Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it in one of our episodes a while back. We did not have the video, though. There are servers where there's a whole bank of these kind of videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public hasn't been allowed to see. Occasionally, some of that stuff gets out in the wild, and it comes our way. It should be going to you. The public should be seeing this stuff. And why you're not allowed to, I don't know. But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off. And it kept going.
It kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
So
what flies like that?
Again, I'm not going to speculate what it is, but the question is, why are we being blocked from this information consistently? I want to ask this just question: how in the world? This is the document. I want to enter this in for the record, if it hasn't already been entered, Madam Chair. The document that you provided on thread 3. This is a huge.
Okay, brother, let me just get a short version. Like I said, I have to cut this short. Maybe tomorrow I just do the full version. What you see here is, this is something I caught on DVR. I'm not get a whole story, right? Because like I said, one morning I went to the gym. This was a couple of years ago, right? And I watched this Fox News, right? And leave it on DVR. And I was thinking to myself, I was just thinking, I never seen I never actually seen a UFO and one of the ships, small ship. I'm sure they're there. I can't tell you I haven't seen it, but based on my knowledge, what Elijah Muhammad said, and the angel and everything else, right? I'm sure they're there, right? And that's I'm gonna give you a short version. So I was thinking about that morning. I said, So it'd be nice if I ever actually seen one, right? Take a picture of it or something, right? So I came back that morning, right? I turned my DVR, and this is why I saw this. This is not Photoshop. I mean, if you get a copy of it, check, it's not Photoshop. Now you tell me where it is. Play. Oh boy, I guess that's not going to play. You tell me what that is, brothers and sisters. Like I said, I see that thought. I came back and I played through it. That's why I saw that. I kept it. It was on my DVR. Yeah. This who number edition, who the Lord consumed the spirit of his mouth, destroy the brights of his coming. Fire comes out. Dead men walking.
1. Now after the death of Moses the servant of the Lord it came to pass, that the Lord spake unto Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, To Moses my servant is dead, now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou, and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. 3. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses. 4. From the wilderness and this Lebanon even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun, shall be your coast.
Yeah. It's Joshua they're talking about, right? How can they never mention Joshua? It's right there. They talking about Moses, Elijah, Aaron, Pharaoh. That's it. That's the end. But what happened to Joshua? How can they never mention that? That's the one that actually takes home. But we ain't going nowhere. He's working with the devils. Because Joshua, that Aaron was, his whole idea, turn your mind back to Egypt. Turn your hearts back to Egypt. Curse with a curse, he robbed the nation. Anyway, move on, brothers and sisters.
Five. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life, as I was with Moses, so I will be with thee, I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. 6. Be strong and of a good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give them. 7. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law, which Moses my servant commanded thee, turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein, for then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. 9. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage, be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest.
Who's this Joshua person? He says, God says he's going to be with him. Master Ramon said he's going to be with him just like he was with Moses. He doesn't say he's with Aaron. Doesn't mention Aaron there nowhere. Well, how come Aaron's not mentioned? He doesn't say he's going to be with Aaron at all. In fact, if you read the story about Aaron, when Elijah insisted be given somebody who could speak well, God actually got angry. It says he got angry. Said, you don't need him. He insisted, so okay, you got him. Why don't I mention him? Why they don't mention Joshua? See, they mention Aaron, but here they don't mention Aaron at all. Let's move on.
"16. And they answered Joshua, saying, All that thou commandest us we will do, and whithersoever thou sendest us, we will go. 17. According as we hearkened unto Moses in all things, so will we hearken unto thee, only the Lord thy God be with thee, as he was with Moses. 18. Whosoever he be that doth rebel against thy commandment, and will not hearken unto thy words in all that thou commandest him, he shall be put to death, only be strong and of a good courage.
These clowns over there, it's taking control of the NOI. They're supposed to be hearkening to the message of the covenant. So hang on there, Eric, Ben X, Wesley, y'all hang on in there. Son of man, hang on in there. But like I said, this was happening this year. And I expect this war to continue this month. Once it starts, it's over. Once it starts this time, so things will happen so fast.
"94. They said, O Dhul Karnain. Gog and Magog do mischief in the land. May we then pay thee tribute, on condition that thou raise a barrier between us and them?"
That's the will that Ezekiel saw. God and Magog, how terrible they would be. 100 years, they'd be terrible. They have control. Adam, they have control of the planet, and they'd be terrible. That's the will he saw. Not the mother plane. Mother plane don't look like animals.
96. Even when Gog and Magog are let loose and they sally forth from every elevated place. 97. And the true promise draws nigh, then lo, the eyes of those who disbelieve will be fixedly open. Oh, woe to us! Surely we were heedless of this, nay, we were unjust.
That's what they're going to be saying in a minute. This is talking about, right, the reign of Adam. And it's particularly talking about the jinn there. Because they was in power for 1,000 years. It's said in chapter 20. That's European history. 1,000 years, they were in power over there. They had power over Europeans. Then Gog and Magog broke loose, right? And it took them down. That's what it says. And, right? True promise and lo, the eyes of those disbelieve were fixedly open. They're talking about the Sunnis here. Because they haven't had a victory in 5 years. And they're unjust. Why? Because they didn't submit. We did. It's horrific. Right? But we created the sea bomb and they fueled it. No straw together, brothers and sisters. I'll just redo this tomorrow and give it the full play, because like I said, I'm really kind of sisters.
14. Happy the washing the robes of them, in order that will be the authority of them upon the wood of the life, and to the gates they might enter into the city. 15. Outside the dogs and the druggers and the fornicators and the murderers and the idolaters and everyone liking and doing lie. 17. And the Spirit and the bride are saying, Be you coming, and the hearing let him say, Be you coming, and the thirsting let him be coming, the willing let him take water of life free gift. 18. I am bearing witness to everyone the hearing the words of the prophecy of the little book this, if ever anyone should impose upon them, will impose the God upon him the plagues the having been written in the little book this. 19. And if ever anyone should take off from the words of the little book of the prophecy this, will take off the God the part of him from the wood of the life and out of the city the holy, of the having been written in the little book this.
Yeah, I think that's what happened, brothers and sisters. When the power went out, it got mixed up, so it's actually playing some of these double. Anyway, I'm giving the short version. Perhaps tomorrow I'll look over it, and maybe I'll just redo it and give you the full version.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass, that, when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
See, this they plan against us, brothers and sisters, and it's happening before your eyes. It's happening before your eyes. They say they're going to do it in a way that you won't see it coming. Let's deal wisely, shrewdly with them. Right now, Mr. Trump is already preparing to show destruction. It's it must have been in place already. But no one's telling me that. Farrakhan, well, he took God's going to be quiet. Well, that's a damn lie, but he wouldn't know anyway. The next, now they talk about that. They try to give a little hint of it Sunday after they heard me talk about it, but he still hedged his bet. Well, they're coming after us. No, it's already in place. Okay? And I've been telling you for weeks, for years actually, but now we're here. It's already in place. That's why it says when you flee, you have to flee immediately. You can't go in the house to get your baby, anything. That means it has to be in place already. Because they had to come and get you. It means you have time to do something. We are already in place. And the other thing is that reason why you panic, you got to read and panic, because not only is it only in place, but you didn't see it coming. If it saw it coming, then you would be ready for it. You had your baby with you. You have your car already loaded and everything else. See? So it's telling you two different things right there that you don't even see it coming. The blood's already in place. You don't see it coming because somebody's blocking this information because it's already in place right now. Why do you think he's putting all this military in the cities, in the back cities around you? Why do you think he's doing that? That's the Constitution, but nobody's paying attention to the Constitution either, are they? Because they're all on board with it. They want to get rid of you. They're tired of you. They don't need. They've been wanting to get you all the time. That's one of the reasons why this Epstein files thing. They ain't talking and that's why he's kissing Netanyahu's ass because they tell him, remember they white folks too, ain't they? And they've been talking about us in the background for years, and they've been recording what they've been saying in secret. What Trump says in secret, what they really say. I got videos talking about that, but they were really saying in secret about you with their plans for you and everything else. But they recorded it. And that's what they got over Trump right now. If you don't do what we tell you to do, we're going to put public what you've been saying about them, what you've really been saying, what Biden has been saying, all of them. That's one of the things going on with this Kirk thing and that Yahoo thing. He got him. They're going to expose all that stuff. There's this what do you call what's his name? You understand? That's what's going on. They already got it. And I talk about dilemma between them and false Israel. I'm not going to that right now, but maybe tomorrow. I just been 3 or 4 hours just let the whole thing out. The Epstein thing. That's what's going on right now. That's why he got to do everything he says because they're going to explode what they're really planning. They already got it in place. It's already in place. Right? He put these detention centers, they don't need detention centers anymore. You go check it out. They had them because immigrants, when they caught them, they had to put them in their court. Trump got around it, so why still build it? They built a big one in Texas, why don't they need them anymore? That's for you. Why did they telling you right now that false Israel is not the one responsible for what's going on in Gaza? They said America stop it because they didn't give them the tools. We got people saying it. I just saw this one today. These are people that's up there in the administration, right? They don't need. They said all America stopped giving them the weapons and stuff to do it. They couldn't do it. America responsible for that. Why? They're getting people ready for your genocide. Because if nobody acts on that, they sure ain't. If they don't act on them, and they're right there in the Arab land, right in the middle, right in that living room. They're killing their women, children, their baby, right there, and nobody's doing nothing about it right there. Who's going to help you? And they hate you much more than hate them. And they got the media should be quiet. Hey, ain't nothing happening in America. Because the media ain't saying about that over there, are they? It's all set up. See? So and that's why it's going to be dreadful. Like, a lot of you going to be lost, brothers and sisters. A lot of you going to be lost. My people lost for lack of knowledge because there's these fools out here. Everything's okay. These my brothers. We ain't going nowhere. All this stuff. And the trap is already set. It says right there. See? Unless they join our enemies and fight against us and get our land, they know we're leaving here, getting the hell out of here. So why Friday? We ain't going nowhere. We love them. We don't shouldn't have in America. Because they got him. He worked for them. Because he's one of them.
They have said, "Come and let's wipe them out as a nation, so that the name of Israel will no longer be remembered."
No, you're talking about you, brothers and sisters. I silence myself. This is you. That's a trick. They put falsehoods up there to counter Elijah Muhammad saying you the true seed of Abraham. So all 1940, I'll put it up this. No, they am. Because I want you to know they talking about you here. Exodus talking about you. They want you to know about Joshua. That's why they stopped at Aaron, because he's worked for them. Or they keep all this hidden, because it said they doing wisely to keep you from knowing about it until it's too late. But this trap is already set. See? But you got Master Ramos on the case. I'm on the case. You're going to get the information, but a lot of you are going to be lost for lack of knowledge. Because those clowns and your blood is going to be on their hands. Ben X, so-called Son of Man, all that kind of stuff. They're not talking about this. They're not talking about falsity over there. They're talking about you. Wipe you out as being a nation, destroy you, get rid of you. Wipe you out, totally, eradicate you. That's why Trump is setting all this stuff up. Look. They worship this guy, a known racist, and they build him up. Everybody loves him. And you can't say, and you say anything about it when they fire you and everything else. This, what's his name, Kirk guy? No racist. Yeah, he's going to give him funeral, and they're going to give him Florida flags and everything else. And everybody's red, man, because they finally got a president that speaks their language openly. Biden spoke it too, but he's speaking openly. And they tell you, this guy's an open racist. I mean, and you can't say, I didn't do my job. The blood's not on my hands. It's on their hands, on these Levites that won't do a goddamn thing. Those are your people. And I looked at it again. I said, let me study this a little more. I looked at it and I said, well, look at the attitude they have. The man that comes and he sees the messenger coming, he comes to them. Remember? I can tell you more about that story, but I don't want to get too much detail here. But remember, they come to him. To the messenger of the covenant. And they get their mind back. And they don't do a goddamn thing with it. In fact, they don't even care about their people, because they say, when he gets ready to leave, they want to leave with him. Hey, come on. You said, no, man, you got to go back. What the hell? You supposed to go back and go, you got this for your own people. They ain't give it them by their own people. They got theirs, and that's it. There's a whole lot more to that story, brothers and sisters. They kill their own people. I got mine. They're priest tribe. That was their job. They don't even want to do it. Okay, I'm going to close out there, brothers and sisters. Hopefully, maybe if I'll look at it again, and I'll look at it, because I know I get a short version, had issues. I tend to give a much longer version. So look at it, and if I deem necessary, I just do it again tomorrow, and I give you the long version. Long version, because it needs at least another hour, because I jumped over a lot of things. So hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to let the rest of this play. Okay, see what happens here.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Wadafuddin and I have had disagreement. But his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, but I don't want to live anywhere else. I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way? If the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent.
"49. I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I, if it be already kindled? 50. But I have a baptism to be baptized with, and how am I straitened till it be accomplished? 51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. 52. For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. 53. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
When the Muslims were alive, I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you dead as hell now on both sides.
Yes, sir, brother Millie. Yes, we are. Yes, sir. That's real, brother Millie. That's real.
Wake us up, dear Apostle.
When we was alive, we set up schools.
That's right.
When we were alive, we had supermarkets.
That's right.
We owned buildings. We owned farmland. We were busy doing something, hiring our people. Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on top of the earth, let the worms eat their ass.
We own no land here in America. Out of all the 50 states now that America's on, she have not as yet offered to her 22 million free slaves who served their father for 300 years in servitude. Not even the teeniest state in the Union. She has not offered her slave nothing to go upon. While Israel was offered something to leave Egypt with, a few gold pieces. They was help to get out of Egypt. But we have been let loose like cattle. Not even having any chance whatsoever to go away from our slave masters to our own. And they would not carry us back to our people. Let us remember these things. Almighty God, Allah taught us that our fathers wanted to go back to their people when they was put off on the shores of North America. And the ship Jesus that John Hawkins brought our parents here on. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, wanting to return, with their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves, bound together, feet, and when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on the ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You are now turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel? Acting sick. And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shores of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your you on. Build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you are free. Remember that.
So long till they don't know the birth record, so they just say from remotest antiquity, this is the house that God used to manifest his wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and power in and through. Where is he now? Wherever he want to be. I'm not going to say I know where he is, but I'm glad his power is everywhere. I think I know where he is. I don't want to say because I could be wrong. But he's wherever he wishes to be. Are we to pray and worship Master Farad Muhammad? You don't worship the flesh of any man, because the flesh is going to die. But in that flesh is a wisdom and a power superior to any human being on the earth. So when we look to Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, we look to him. And when he ain't no longer here, the power is going to be here. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he would live a minimum of 400 years, but 400 years ain't no time. He'll be gone. But before he goes, the foundation of what he lays will never be erased from the planet. That's a God. He prays. He prays. He don't pray to himself. You don't say, surely I have turned myself to me. Who does he pray to? He prays in remembrance of him who originated that which he came in. He came in this body. You can't ignore him who originated this. Anyway, it's deep. It's a big subject. I want to say to my Muslim brothers, when I was in Mecca, I was there for 3 days. I was there for 3 days, and in the 3 days that I was there, wrangling with the scholars, we talked about this. And when I finished explaining, the heaviest scholars there didn't bother to argue. They had to go away and study it. And what we don't realize is God has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And what you're doing, you are following those that God wants to put you over. The Arab is a good person, basically. They've done a wonderful job in keeping the book of God pure. And we are grateful to them for so doing. But they messed up. It's your turn now. And God will see how you act. But you're not to follow Arabs. You're to lead them. And you can't lead them following them. See, they like to see you imitating them. Just like white Christians want to see black Christians imitating them. We're not to follow white people today. They had their day of rule, and their day of rule is up. That's all. God is going to replace them with a new ruler. And whether you like it or not, the new ruler is black. He have hair like lamb's wool, and he has feet like burnished brass. And if y'all can't take a black leader, then you might as well get off the planet.
Beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest practices in all the religions is prayer. The form and style of prayer varies from faith to faith, but prayer is universal. There is no religious community that does not pray. No prophet of God that did not pray. Abraham prayed, Noah prayed, Moses prayed, David prayed, Joseph prayed, Jesus prayed, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, prayed, Mustafa Muhammad prays.
We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody, these are these people, you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you heard that. Donald Trump is a believer in eugenics. He believes that white people are the superior race. And inner city is code for black people. And he believes black people cannot now work on the farms. I guess they're not good enough for that. So Hispanic people can do it because they have the backs for it. This is what this man is saying out loud in interviews. He is a racist. It's been proven time and time again. The man had Mein Kampf on his bedside table that he would read at night. Enough to let you know where he stands on that. Just more outrageous, racist things from Donald Trump. They want to arrest those who can do the farm work, well, until their backs give out. And then he'll probably ship them to El Salvador or some other country. Just more vile statements from the president and let you know where he stands.
When they were arresting people for praying outside of abortion clinics. I mean, I do think the UK, and I say this as, someone who is half English, I think it's like reached, or it is quickly reaching a point where democratic reforms are going to be pretty tough because of the demographic change. And that, of course, the point of importing all these people is to overwhelm the people who live there who disapprove of the program. So you don't have to care what they think because you just bring in new people and their will becomes like all that matters. And so I don't think you're going to fix these things through elections at some point, probably pretty soon. And I just worry a place like the UK, Canada is another, a bunch of different countries in the West are at the point where they're literally revolutionary. They are poised for revolution. And as someone who really doesn't support revolution and hates violence and hates civil war above all, I'm worried about that. I mean, I don't see how this is fixed. Starmer, who's, he's just an instrument of larger forces, but he's a poisonous character, obviously, who's really hurt your country. He's in there for, 4 more years? And so you wonder, people are going to start to get really radical in a scary way. I think this is going to happen. And the people in charge don't seem to care.
Well, you're already seeing it. You are seeing the anger beginning to manifest itself, and I completely understand the anger. I don't, like you, I abhor any form of violence, but I do understand the anger when you have, Keir Starmer campaigned, I'm going to smash the gangs that allow these little boats to come over the channel, delivering tens of thousands of people illegally into the country. And they then get put into these so-called asylum hotels where they're given a pretty good lifestyle, certainly a far better lifestyle than many people really struggling at the moment in the UK. And of course, far from smashing the gangs, it turned out yesterday that he's smashing new records for the number of people coming in illegally on the boats. Of course, it's out of control, and the British public are reaching a point of saying we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly?
Are reaching a point of saying we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly? You'd really have to force a lot of people to go back to their countries of origin, millions of people, and you need to do it really soon. And are they actually willing to do that? I don't know, but these are existential questions that we have been browbeat into ignoring for decades. But the question is is Ireland Ireland? If it's majority non-Irish, oh, shut up, they're Irish. No, they're actually not Irish. Same with the UK, same with England, Scotland, Wales. It's all changing so fast. Nothing like this has ever happened in all of history, except when, say, the Mongols swept across the steppe and raped everybody. That was true demographic change on this scale. But even that wasn't as profound as what we're seeing in every white country around the world. I would say the West, but Australia and New Zealand also. So, what is that? Now, my brain is not big enough to understand what that is. I have a lot of theories about it, but I don't know if they're true. All I know is what the numbers are, and that's real, and no one feels that he can say it. Everyone's like, oh, well, if that were happening in China or India or Malaysia or Senegal, it doesn't matter. You'd be like, what the hell is that? The population's totally different. Look at graduation. Pick, King's College Law School, and look at the graduation picture for the last 30 years. Who's in it? Just let your eyes tell you the truth for once. This is a total change in population. Is it better? Is it worse? Can't have that conversation. Who's pushing this? Does the population want it? The population clearly doesn't want it. There's no polling that's meaningful on the subject. There's no referendum on it. You don't get to decide. You've got no voice in it, other than you get to go to jail if you complain loudly enough about it. What is this? I think it's the biggest and darkest thing that has happened in the last 1,000 years, for sure. And I think it's leading somewhere really, really bad. It's not happening by accident, that's obvious, because it's only happening in white countries.
I think that...
Oh, shut up, white supremacist. Well, in fact, I'm not a white supremacist. I'm just noticing what the hell's going on.
I think most people I've spoken to about this in the UK, most people have always viewed the UK to be a very tolerant, multicultural, cosmopolitan place to live. That's why so many people want to come here. And people have no problem with that. And it's been very successful for a long period of time.
But it's multicultural? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law... What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law every bit as valid as English common?
No, people don't want Sharia law here. No.
A lot of people do. Wait, but hold on. I don't know what you mean. Multiculturalism itself is the lie designed to subvert a society. No, a society has a culture. You can argue about what it is or ought to be. It's not necessarily the same as race. It's connected to race, but it's not the same. People from different races can buy into your culture. That was kind of the beauty of the West. But a multicultural society is not sustainable. There's never been
your
such a
society
thing.
is
One
about
culture will dominate.
Hang on, Tucker. Surely the United States of America, given the very way it was created, is the epitome of a multicultural society. And my point I was going to make to you was...
It's absolutely not. No. It's a multiracial society.
Yeah.
Though it was not actually a multiracial society up until pretty recent. It was just like 90% white for most of its existence, but whatever. But you did have different peoples, you had different religions. That was all totally fine, but there was one culture, as American culture. There's no such thing as a multicultural society. It's not sustainable. One culture will overwhelm the other. Again, it's not the same as race. It's not identical to race. It's connected, but it's not the same. But multiculturalism is by definition insane. No, it's never happened. It never will happen. One culture will predominate. It will impose its values on everybody else. I mean, the gay thing, which was not a thing 40 years ago, gay was a slur, all of a sudden becomes multicultural there. There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere all
but
the
those
time.
values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments? Right. So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's
determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So those values can evolve.
There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere all the time.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments? Right. So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. Natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's multicultural, we can all live and have radically different values, that's just not true. It's never been true. It never will be true. So you're having one culture, one worldview predominate over another and dominate and suppress all dissent. That's just what it is, dude.
But
Let's be honest.
I would point to the United States of America and the United Kingdom as two shining examples, albeit not completely without their flaws, but shining examples of places that are deemed by the rest of the world. I certainly feel that about my country.
Well, I certainly think that inherent in Christianity is the notion of tolerance, and that draws from a core Christian concept, which is free will. You cannot force someone to convert. There's never been conversion by the sword in Christianity. People decide to believe in it. And so that is central to the religion, therefore it's been central to the society. Western civilization is Christian civilization. And so we call that tolerance. It's a respect for your inherent God-given right to make a choice about what you believe. Okay, so of course, that's always been a feature. My only point is, a society has a commonly agreed upon set of beliefs, rules, and laws that are the definition of the society itself. That's what a society is. So you can't have competing. You can't have, gay world and Sharia world living co-equally in a society. That does not happen. It will never happen. You have to pick one. Are we the Sharia society? Are we the party time gay rights society? Like, which one? And you can't face that reality. So you're just sort of snoozing along until the inevitable point where you're going to wake up and be like, my values have no bearing on what our society is anymore, because we've been invaded by other people with a totally different worldview, and they're now in charge. And that day is coming very soon for your country, and maybe it'll improve it. I don't think the UK could be a lot worse than it already is. It's this kind of disgusting, sad, self-hating, suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English person, but that day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architect. That's a choice that we're all going to face. Suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English. That day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architects of mass migration. Sorry.
I would question your characterization as my country as a sad, disgusting, what's the rest of it, suicidal nation. I feel none of those things. I feel very happy to be in the United Kingdom, and I feel that there are lots of very happy.
Our system, the Western system, which is very distinct from the Eastern system, very distinct, and it's distinct on this one precise point, we believe and have always believed since this country was founded, since your country became not a pure monarchy, but even when it was a pure monarchy, the belief in the West, because of Christianity, was the worst thing you can do is punish the innocent. That's the worst thing you can do. That's worse than not punishing the guilty. And we often said that to each other. We no longer say that because there is a pretty concerted effort to blur the meaning of these terms. But I'm not going to be deterred from defining words precisely. Terror is murdering people, killing people, punishing people who committed no crime. Period.
So when the Israeli government says it has repeatedly that even though over 20,000 completely innocent children are believed to have died in their response to what Hamas did on October the 7th at the hands of the IDF, there are many on the pro-Palestinian side who say that Israel is behaving like terrorists too in the way that they have gone about conducting this war. Would you go as far as to say that?
One of the things that I really object to now is this relentless focus on Israel, which, by the way, is a foreign country that I have nothing to do with.
We've done this before. Now, maybe today things are different, and we will end up living in a nation that is sharply divided and may ultimately produce something else. But I'm an American. I love my country. I want to see it stay together. I'm interested in social cohesion, which means that I think our laws, customs, and culture have to be dominant. We can accept some diversity on the edges, but not fundamental division. I think we're in a state of fundamental division. So when I bring up Sharia law, I've sat in many discussions with many people that said, well, I don't care what people look like, but I do care about Sharia law, and I don't want that practiced anywhere near my family or in my country. And that's something you should be aware of. So the notion that someone can come here and say, well, that's part of my religion and we're going to abide by Sharia law, they're going to find serious resistance and opposition in the country.
And as I clarified, I
It's because it matters. It's this thing we call societal cohesion. Nations do not exist on their own. They have a core population. Our core population from the very beginning was always at least 80% European and Christian and about 15 to 20% African. But when you start bringing in huge numbers, millions, who are fundamentally different from the core population, you are going to get violence, anger, and conflict. How many times have you heard people say, if you bring people in from the developing world, what do you get? The developing world. And now we've got that. You can't bring in hundreds of thousands of people from Somalia, plant them, of all places, in Minnesota, and then be shocked that, no, they're not Americans. They're not really interested in being Americans. They're foreigners living on American soil. Nobody wants to say that publicly. If you do, oh, well, you're a racist. Well, you know, the world is full of racists. The real war that's going to decide our fate is not going to be fought anywhere overseas. It's going to be fought right here inside the United States. Are we going to survive as a republic, as an English-speaking republic that rests on the foundations of Western civilization? Or are we going to become something else?
One point that is
The Constitution was completed in 1789. I think we had 5 million people living in the 13 British colonies. We were 90% white, that is excluding the Africans that were in the country who had been brought here as slaves. But we were 90% white. We were 90% Protestant. And this may be hard for you to believe, but the people that wrote that were trying to protect all of the Protestant sects from a state church on the model of the Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church. That's one of the reasons it was almost 100 years or more after that before people began to finally accept Catholicism as a religion, because it was viewed as political power. My point to you is the Constitution is outdated. The way we are governed is outdated. It has to be re-examined. Nobody in 1789 imagined that anybody would come to the United States except another lunatic, religious fanatical Protestant who hated the Church of England. That's what people feared. That's what they thought of. The Constitution that we have does many good things, but I would argue that the Bill of Rights is ultimately more important. The Bill of Rights is vital and essential, and that needs to be defended. But the Constitution and the way we govern and the things that we're doing, it's out of date. It doesn't fit our needs. And that's back to my comment on something given has no value. You have to earn it. And we haven't made anybody earn their place in this country. I'm talking about people like me that have been here forever. My first ancestor stepped off the boat in 1681. So we've got to get back to some notion of national service, because national service promotes national integration. It addresses some of these problems that you're discussing. Now, I know that you may not want to conform and may not want to be as I am, but I'm an American and nobody questions that. Nobody ever will. If you don't want to stand out and be questioned, then I suggest that you change your appearance, because I don't think it's life or death for you to wear what you wear.
I think this conversation.
It's not fine, because it's leading to violence that could have otherwise been avoided. You see, every great nation, every large nation can always accept some number of people into its ranks that are different from them. It's always been the case. But if you suddenly import millions, which is what's happened here and happened in Europe, then you threaten the core gene pool. What I'm trying to tell you is there's a problem. And we can all think that there isn't, and you can insist there isn't, but that's the view. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to address it truthfully and openly. Stop pretending it's not a problem. It's a problem.
I mean, what's also a problem is white supremacy, and that's.
No, because you're saying you're different, you're going to remain different, and you don't think that if that's not compatible with being an American, then the hell with it. That's what you're going to do.
Well, then what do you make then of, white American people who convert, let's say, to Islam and choose to cover? Are they not American anymore?
Listen, if they want to do that, that's obviously their business. I don't know how many are out there that do that. I think again, it's ill-advised. I think you have to hold the society together. There has to be an agreement on certain things, customs, culture, way of life. And unfortunately, if you're going to practice rigidly a brand of Islam that demands certain things, and this is why I asked right off the bat, do you support Sharia law?
I'm a Muslim. What being a Muslim means is I follow the guidelines of my religion, which is a peaceful
Does your religion dictate to you Sharia law?
My religion dictates to me to be a good human being, to be good to my neighbors, to
that the most powerful force in today's Republican Party is represented by what Charlie Kirk said. It is this drive to make America a white Christian nation. I got to tell you, this is what they say privately. This is now what they say publicly. This is what Charlie Kirk said publicly.
And Joe, again, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because you know these people very, very well. Yeah. You said it yourself. You were one of the strongest voices. You were one of the folks who understood the incendiary language when you were in Congress, when you had your radio show, and how people loved when you did it. And then when you chose to apologize for that and turn away from it, oh my God, they literally have just tried to destroy you because of that.
Yeah, again, you know the deal, Roland, right? I came out publicly against Trump 7 years. For 7 years, I put up with death threats on a regular basis. Nobody is welcome in that party unless you bow down to what this force is, this MAGA force. And again, look, there have been some people on the left who've celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder. Shame on them, be better people. But this is much worse, Roland, what my former friends are doing on the right, because they are turning this into a holy war. When you say we declare war on the left because of what some 22-year-old young guy did in Utah, and then you declare war on the whole left, that's a lot worse than celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder, because that's dishonest, but that's also inciting hate and violence. And Roland, look, Trump's an idiot. So yeah, Trump says the left, the problem in the country is the left. J.D. Vance is not an idiot. What did J.D. Vance say today, right? He was subbing for Charlie Kirk on his radio show, and he spent the entire show going after the left, going after them, they, them. Man, Democrats need to wake up, Roland. This is a really serious deal by my former colleagues. The stuff that I hear privately from them right now, Roland, for the last 5 days, I mean, they want to go to war. This is a holy war.
Oh, it absolutely is. And what really jumps out at me on this very thing here, Joe, and I've been saying this, I played the speech 2 weeks ago that mainstream media just ignored, of Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, who gave a speech at NatCon, Peter Thiel's group, where he literally gave a white nationalist speech, where he said our ancestors fought for this country to be ours and no one else. He was talking about white people. He was basically saying if you are Black, Latino, Asian American, or even Native American, America is not for you. And folks just ignored it. And so people need to understand, again, what they're saying, why they're saying it. And yes, there are many evangelicals, any very conservative white Christians who are pushing this as well. And you nailed it. They want a holy war. They want a race war. They want this to be a white country. It is clear as day.
And Roland, really important point. Charlie Kirk, at only 31, the impact he had, because he was one of the most successful pushers of this white Christian nationalistic idea. And so I think that's why all of his defenders are out there so strenuously denying he said anything divisive, because they know if you really go through Charlie Kirk's public record, everything he said about people of color and black women and Muslims and gays and transgenders, if people took the time to go through all of that, and that was put out for average people to see, they'd be blown away by it. That's why his defenders are like supercharged right now. They don't want that record to be seen.
Today, you mentioned, and I mentioned as well, Vice President J.D. Vance sitting in to do his show. And listen to this man just blatantly lie, Joe. Play it.
I read a story in The Nation magazine about my dear friend, Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros's Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits.
Bullshit.
Okay, Joe, this is actually what he said.
No, Roland, that's utter bullshit.
In fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color.
All right, Joe. He literally said it. Not only that, Vance lied. Soros does not fund the nation. So he sat there and flat out lied.
And Roland, remind me, what's J.D. Vance's job? He's the vice president, and yet he had time today to do a radio show for a former right-wing podcaster. I mean, look what they're not even, Roland, they're not even subtle about it, what this White House is doing. They believe, man, the path to victory is fear, hate, and division. And that's what they're putting out there. That was Charlie Kirk literally going after 4 accomplished black women by saying they didn't have the brain power to get where they got. This is what he believed. And this is what MAGA believes. And that, again, Roland, broken record, that's why Charlie Kirk was so damn successful. Why he had such a big audience.
Yeah, and not only that, you take Nick Fuentes, who's to the right of Charlie Kirk. The night of or the day after Kirk was shot and killed, Fuentes had 200,000 people watching him live. And so what you have this fervor. And so when I listen to Trump and Vance and all these people talk about, oh, how the left, they're indoctrinating. No, and you know this very well, the indoctrination. We've had people who formerly are with Turning Point USA put out videos talking about how it was really this cult-like figure, this messianic figure, as they sort of set Kirk up as, and how they want them to follow that. And so that's what's going on here. These people are not trying to have open dialogue. And not only that, Joe, you take Trump, okay? Trump was very clear in saying he was not going to call Governor Tim Walz after those 4 folks were shot in Minnesota. 2 were killed, including former Speaker of the House and her husband. Now today he's saying, oh, he never even heard of Melissa Hortman. And if the governor had asked him, he would have, of course, lowered the flags to have staff. I'm sorry, he's also lying. He knew about her. He knew about the shooting, but he was so arrogant that he said, oh, 2 Democrats, a Democrat Speaker of the House shot and killed. Yeah, I don't care, but lower the flags to have staff with Charlie Kirk. Flies body on Air Force 2. Do a memorial service at the Kennedy Center. Do another one at the Arizona Cardinal Stadium. Give him the Medal of Freedom. And I'm telling you, they're going to give him a state funeral. That's what you're seeing right now. And then you got Peter Hegseth going after members of the military who said anything negative in the aftermath of his death. You've got Kirk supporters creating a database of people of every social media post, and then even Vance saying in the podcast, you call their employer. So the so-called free speech people all of a sudden are saying, if you say anything negative about Charlie Kirk after what took place last week, we're going to come after you, come after your job. Oh, I thought they hated cancel culture, Joe.
Yeah. Roland, I remember back in my right-wing radio days, I would come on every day, and there was always some story about some leftist group on a college campus that couldn't handle speech that made them uncomfortable
to say.
Roland, this is scary, and you and I are old enough, man, to remember huge figures in American history who were gunned down, struck down, military leaders, civil rights leaders. We are treating this 31-year-old podcaster, MAGA influencer, like he's Jesus Christ. So I come from the right. Why are my old colleagues and friends on the right doing this, Roland? Because the right wants a religious war. Let's just call it. They want a civil war. They want a holy war. That's why they're putting him up to be some Jesus-like martyr.
Absolutely. I mean, Glenn Beck literally came out and said he was a civil rights leader. Oh, my God, stop it. Stop it. I've seen people say, I've seen a lot of these videos, I'm leaving my church because my pastor did not mention him. This was a Christian warrior. And let's just be clear. You said it, white Christian nationalists. It's slaveholder religion. We heard a lot of this stuff during slavery, during Jim Crow, things along those lines. And this whole idea about, it was about debate. It was about, exchange of ideas. I mean, come on, let's just stop it. And so we see what's going on here. We see the games that are being played. And then what gets me, Joe, is this whole deal of, oh my God, the left, how they indoctrinated him and the accused killer going to a university. The dude was at a university for 1 semester, Joe. You're trying to tell me that 1 semester at a mostly white institution in Mormon, Utah, which is not a liberal bastion, somehow just radicalized him? I mean, it really is showing folks the hand they're trying to play.
Yeah, and I think even on top of that, Roland, I think it was like some technical school. So it wasn't some crazy liberal arts school for a semester. Look, cut through all the BS. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has publicly said that America should be a white Christian country. This is what animates my former party. Roland, you know me, right? Tea Party Hellraiser. I don't come from the left. I left the Republican Party when the Republican Party became MAGA. And my fellow Democrats and folks on the left need to understand, now these people are on the right. Now this is MAGA. MAGA now are the snowflakes. MAGA, Roland, they now need their safe spaces. It's funny, but it's not funny. And you're right about J.D. Vance, man. He just flat out lied. I mean, the last 30-year history of political violence in this country, the vast majority of it is right-wing. It always has been. And they put out this lie that it's only on the left. It's not even, Roland, a both sides problem between the left and the right. There is political violence on the left, but the vast majority is on the right, and they know that, and they're lying because they're trying to inflame their base. And Roland, I hear from their base every day, and let me tell you something, they are inflamed. I mean, they are ready to march and grab their you-know-what. This is a scary time.
It is, and folks need to understand what is certainly at stake. Joe Walsh, I appreciate you joining us on the show.
History of the cross, known by their works. What's the history of the cross? 500-year history of the cross. Murder, rape, destruction, deception, enslavement, burning, terrorizing. To maintain a slavery system, you must terrorize the people 24/7. They terrorize people from Africa and America for 400 years. Constant terror, 24/7, rape, murder. In the name of Jesus. This was Christians, not Buddhists, not Hindus. Christians, in the name of Jesus, where they said Jesus cursed black people, they call them Ham, cursed them to be slaves and persecuted forever. In the name of Jesus, raped our women incessantly, pissed in our mouths, made us eat shit. And they took and tried to clean up, not clean it up, but make it look more fashionable, I guess, by calling it chitlins. That's after slavery, of course, after so-called slavery. Because what was endured was not slavery. Look up slavery. Look up slavery. It does include murder, rape, terror. This is a Holocaust. And then now they try to downplay it. Oh, that was 40 years ago. No, it wasn't 40 years ago. I don't care if it was a million years ago. It was 40 years ago. It lasts for 400 years. And it's enduring today. They took everything away from the slaves. Everything. Their name, their culture, their families, their religion, their minds, everything. Fed their children to alligators as alligator bait. And then they talk about what's going on in Gaza when they did 1,000 times worse. What's going over in Gaza now is simply just a miniature version of what they did. What they did was far worse than what's going on in Gaza. Gaza's bad. It's genocide. What they did was far worse and much longer. That's the legacy of Christianity. Murder, rape, disease. They wiped out the native population with genocide and disease. Smallpox blankets, knowing they was full with disease. Herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea from sleep with animals. So-called common cold was not common. It didn't exist here on this side of the world until they brought it here. Murder, rape. When they was raping out women, they had a cross hanging from their neck. And again, they taught black and this was God's will. God's will. The enslavement of our people. And they continue on even today. That's the legacy of Christianity, the cross. So where's your rap sheet? Every time they arrest one of our people, your rap sheet. What's your rap sheet? How you going to judge people for murder when you're guilty of murder beyond imagination for hundreds of years? Hundreds of years. Theft. You stole this land and murdered his people. And you crushed the native people here. When the braves would go out hunting, you would come into the camps like cowards and kill the women and smash the children's brains out on the hooves of your horses. This is the legacy of Christianity. That's the legacy of it. The question is, if instead of Columbus coming here, Dracula came here, Beelzebub, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Satan, and they all came instead of Columbus. What could they have done that Columbus and those that followed him did? Satan is the God of this world. That's the God they're serving. They have known him by their works. What are the works of Christianity? What are the works of Christianity? Where's the works of Christianity? Evil, deception, mischief, bloodshedding. It goes on today. And what's going on in Gaza, just reflection and microcosm of what was done here in America for hundreds of years. Raped out women incessantly. They would even rape while they was out in the fields picking cotton. They would jump off their horse and tell them to bend over and rape them. And tell them to keep picking cotton while they was doing it. This is the kind of stuff that they would do. Make one slave defecate in the slave and slave up in the mouth of another slave, and then bound it up so he couldn't spit it out for 7 days. That's the legacy of slavery. You did it all in the name of Jesus. That's a legacy of slavery. The legacy of slavery. 40 years plus. Legacy of Christianity. Legacy of the cross. That's the legacy. That's the true legacy. So whose works are those? Who are you serving? Who are you serving? Legacy of the cross. Where's your rap sheet, America? Gog? Where's your rap sheet, Magog? Britain? Where's your mateship? Where's your rap sheet? Antichrist, false Israel? Where's your rap sheet? Then they colonized Africa. They're stealing for ripping off everyone. That's the legacy of Christianity. They've been ruling for over 500 years. And now, the threat of nuclear war to finish off everything. That's a legacy of Christianity in the name of your Jesus.
Surely you ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. The heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system that can't do it.
Back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And the ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, wanting to return, with their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves, bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You and I, turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you were free. Remember that.
going to make it. Surely you ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. What the heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
And do it back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, wanting to return. With their hands stretched out towards that ship and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will, you are now turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man said you were free. Remember that.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant. Okay, brothers and sisters, it's been a year now, and finally home after 40 years in Arabia. I'm reporting to you from Arabia. Finally home after 40 years. Right? And so we've been here a year now. When there was an agreement made, a former slave master, he said, we had a choice. Stay here or leave. Right? So we chose our inheritance, Arabia. So we left. And half the original people decided they wanted to give up their inheritance and trade it for a place in America in reconciliation with their former slave master. That's their choice. They chose, said, we don't want to go over to Arabia. We don't go over there where it's sand and all that stuff. We want to stay in America. We've been here all our lives, been here 40 years, born here, right? And we can make peace with our slave master. Okay, so they decided to stay. And so after a year, right, we get reports of how things are going over there, and it doesn't sound too good. How things are going over in America with their reparations, because they was given, they got 6 states, I believe. Yeah, see, yeah, they got those 6 states right there. That's what Farrakhan told them. They was listening to Farrakhan. Farrakhan promised them. They stay there, 6 states, right? Had their own land, and they can make reconciliation with the former slave master. They're not devils. They're not devils. They're human beings. They just had a rough, they were just, did some things wrong, but now they're gonna make amends and make reparations. So 6 states, and in addition to that, they gave everybody $1 million. Everybody stayed $1 million. Okay? Say, thank you, Farrakhan. They're so happy. Thank you, Farrakhan. Thank you, Farrakhan. Man, you got 6 states. That's what you promised us. We got 6 states. They're thanking you. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? And this was a year ago. They got the 6 states. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? Everybody got $1 million. Everybody $1 million. And they're rejoicing. Oh man, they're so happy. Hey, we made it. We got America, man. We got reconciliation for a master. We got 6 states. Everybody got $1 million. We're all rich. That was a year ago when we left. So we're in Arabia. They're still back there in America. And now we're getting reports a year later. This was the way it was a year ago, man. They were so happy. They were so happy. Right? And now we get reports of what's going on right now. Let's see. Oops, it says a power failure. Great power failure in those 6 states. Power failure. And just those 6 states. Right? So, and now they had a big and massive, they came asking to turn the power. Well, why can't they do it? Oh, Farrakhan didn't train anybody. He was telling you about 6 states, he never prepared you for them. So nobody knows how to do it. How to turn the power grid back on. So now he's begging, man, master, can you come and turn this thing back on for us? I mean, you would think that if he told him 6 states to promise him that he would have prepared him for it, right? Their schools and education, whatever they needed for that. But now I guess they didn't, because they said over there now he's begging the former master to come and turn the power back on. And then what? I mean, this is all that's happening now. I mean, I'm getting these imports in now. A year later, it's like they're coming in every hour. Power grid failure, right? Then say, oops, crop failure. All of a sudden, there's no. They looked at the farmers. Wasn't anything on the farmers said, oh. So then, master, what's happening here? How come right? Our crop. They found that the land they gave them wasn't that fertile. A year later, nothing's growing. Crop failure. And now master, what's happening here? Right? And then, I mean, all these things, every hour that's coming in, right? And then they look, and they had, a year ago, they had plenty of food on the shelves, right? And now, they look there now, and all the food's gone. It's gone. She said, what am I going to do here? Food's gone. The house is empty. So he said, Master, we need some food. Well, how come you can't produce your own food? I mean, you want your own country. You got your own states. That's your country. Then you run it. What are you calling us for? Right? So they'll be praying. And then, oops, no fuel. There's master, no fuel there. Well, you got to buy your fuel. You got to produce your own fuel. What you calling us for? You got your own 6 states now. What you calling us for? Go and get some fuel. You got money, right? You got your own states. So you got to get your own. What you calling us for? You said you wanted your own, so now you got it. And you got your reparation, so we don't owe you anything anymore. We don't owe you anything anymore, so what you calling us for? We don't owe you anything. You said you agreed to 6 states and $1 million per person. You took that instead of your inheritance, what you call the Abrahamic covenant, Arabia. Your brothers and sisters, they left. They took that was offered to them. They took it, and you said no. I want this instead. So now you got it. So what you calling us for? Oh, no communications. Oh man. No communications, right? No medical facilities. So what's going on, Master? Wait a minute, hold on. That's you. What you calling us for? That's yours. You got to handle that stuff. You want us to handle it for you? You want independence, now you have it. I mean, wow, this stuff was coming every hour, man. Instead of like a year, they was celebrating. And now they're crying and begging the master, okay, we got all these problems here. I said, wait a minute, that's yours. What comes about your problems? You have to work those out. Right? No transportation, I mean, no planes, or nowhere. We don't know about fly the planes and drive the trucks and the boats and stuff and to go and get this stuff. Well, what you done that for? You wanted this, you got it. So go ahead and get to train your own pilots, build your own planes, build your own boats and right? You see what I'm saying? Transportation, build your own trucks. What you calling for? Yeah, Master, we see this. You said you wanted 6 states, you got it. You want $1 million per person. That was the reparations. So now if you didn't prepare people to take care of this, how's that our problem? You're independent now. You're really free now. Oops, no fuel, the gas station's empty. I can't drive, man. And no gas. Man, wow. All this stuff happened like for a year. They thought that everything was great, and all of a sudden everything ran out. So I guess what happened? Everything was there when they got it, and then it ran out. They had to, for them to replace the fuel, to get the farms going. So they was left with that stuff. The factory was full. I mean, warehouses full. Then you had to keep they thought that was just going to, I guess they thought it was just going to be there, just by itself. They didn't prepare for it. See? And they ain't trained any engineers and scientists and architects and stuff. They business, they didn't train anybody. So Farrakhan, he told you he's going to get this for you, but he didn't prepare you for it. He didn't get anybody to handle this stuff. So what was that all about? So now he asked the master, hey, don't call on me. You was here, you had it when you was here with me. You said you want independence, you wanted reparations, so you gave it to you. Well, call on your brothers over there. They left, they handled their own business. You said you want to stay here. Right? See? You don't have any professionals or technicians, scientists, doctors, none of that. See? I mean, that's what, because, I mean, if you're going to set reparation, you should be preparing for that, right? So if he was telling you about reparation, you should be preparing for it. If he said, God said that's where you're going to get you, so if God told him he's going to get that for you, then he should, like when God told Noah there was a flood coming, to only build an ark, so he started building an ark. And so you should start preparing for the 6 states and the reparations, but apparently you didn't. And so now, it does say, look, hold it. We want total separation. I mean, look, we don't want you to call us no more. We don't want you to call us no more. Because you're wearing us. You want your own country. You got your own land. Right? You got money, $1 million, all this stuff, right? And so now we got to protect your money and everything too? No, you have to create your own money. You have to do all these things, your own wealth, not ours. Right? So we're going to cut you off from that too. Total economics. So they go and tell it. They tell all the people all the white folks, right? Because all the black folks, now all the black folks is either in Arabia or in those 6 states. That's the solution. You had to be one way or the other. There couldn't be no integration, that kind of stuff. That's the deal. You just said one or the other. So all the black folks are there, ain't no integration, that kind of stuff, right? Black folks are there, one or the other, so they're there. So they said, okay, right? So they just said, we're going to take our money because we don't know what y'all doing over there. You have your own money, you have to find your own wealth. So what they do is they tell all the white folks, say, protect your money, right? Transfer your money into gold. Just all your dollars into gold. Right? Now remember, they gave everybody $1 million apiece. So everybody got $1 million apiece, right? And so they transfer it to gold. And then what happens is that what they do is they start just printing money. White folks just start printing money. You understand what that means? That's inflation. Right? Because if you got $1 million of gold, a million ounces of gold, say a million ounces of gold, understand this, and you got 1 million certificates, then you say each certificate is worth 1 ounce. If you got 1 million ounces, each certificate is worth 1 ounce. Understand that? If you got 1 million ounces of gold and you got 1 million certificates, each one of those certificates is worth 1 million. If you want to say trade with the certificates, each one of the certificates is worth 1 ounce of gold. Right? But if you take and print, you say you got 1 million ounces of gold, and you got 1 million certificates, each one. But say you print twice as many certificates, you got 2 million. Well, then each certificate is only worth 50 cents now, because you got to connect that to the gold. Well, you print 4 times, then each one is worth a quarter. So the more you print, the less they worth, because those certificates has to equal what the gold is. You understand? So the more you print money, the less, right? The less they're worth. So if you print twice as much money, right, there's less gold. You understand? So $1 is worth 1 ounce of gold, which that's right. Then if you print double that amount of dollars, then each one's worth half an ounce. You understand? That's what printing money without increasing their wealth does. That's inflation. So what happens is they keep printing. They get down to where $100 is worth a penny. But see, that doesn't affect their people. They try to protect their money because they transfer their money to gold. So gold still has its value. It's just the dollars don't. It still got the same amount of gold. But the dollars, they get down to a penny. So you can't buy it. You had $1 million, now your $1 million worth of $5. That's all it's worth. $1 million. Hardly worth anything. Hey, that's our money. You gotta have your own money, you control your own wealth. You can't keep coming at us what you're doing. And you think they wouldn't do that? Yeah, you been a Gaza lately? You see what happened to the trees they made with the so-called natives? Kept telling me you had a forked tongue because they kept making trees with them, then they broke the trees. And took their land and genocide and everything else. But no, they wouldn't do that to you. See? Because now you have, your money's worth nothing. They haven't lost anything. Because once that money's worthless, it's no good, right? Then you burn it up, throw it away, it's worth nothing. The people still got gold. And even if they take it, hold on to money, hope to increase again, they just use another different certificate, use another form of money. So it's still worth nothing. That $1 million you had, you was so happy with now, it's probably worth maybe $1. So you can't buy anything with $1. Plus the economy's collapse because everything is failing, and you don't know how to repair it. You don't know how to build communications. You don't know how to do any of this stuff. You're not an engineer, build a house, you don't know how to do anything because Farrakhan didn't. Right? He didn't prepare you. He told you he'll give you 6 days. He told you, listen to me, right? So now you're broke, and your economy is gone. You have no food, no electricity, no power, anything, right? It's not their fault. They gave you what you asked for. You still had your inheritance for that. And then they closed the border. Because you want to try to get back into America now. We want to come back in, Master. No, we don't want you back in here. We sorry, we want to come in. No. That's what you chose. You stay there. They closed the border, so you can't get back in here. You can't get back in America, into what you could call your land now. Swaziland or something? Farrakhan. Maybe call it travel land. Farrakhan. They met the Farrakhan. Right? So they close the borders, you can't. Because now you're hungry and everything else, your money's worthless. Oh God, come back, Master, I'll come back work for you, I'll work for Popeyes, I'll do anything you want. No, remember, now blacks, either they over in Arabia or they in that land. There are no blacks in America, in places, just in that land that you 6 days. And now you're starving, you ain't got your money's worthless, nothing works, and they close the border. Right? And then you see Master, you on the phone, you talking to the guy that you kept treating, help you. Hey, we finally got rid of niggas. Finally got rid of them. Finally got rid of them. See, on the phone. Yeah, it worked. We sold them no reparations. We sold them that used car. They turned the miles back and everything else, and they bought it. See? They could have had a BMW. They could have had a Lamborghini. They sold that for a BMW that looked good. Damn thing didn't work. And now they're starving, living in tents. Praying. So what? Then what next? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? You told us to take reparations, so we did. But they gave us everything we asked for. What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do? Pray, 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 pray. That's his answer. Pray, pray, pray. That's your reparations. Like Elijah Muhammad said, he had a big picture. We leaving, and blacks staying on the shore, the ones stay behind, and they was whooping their ass. Right? Because they thought you think they were going to give you some land and take care of you? You think they were going to do that? And go bankrupt, give everybody $1 million? You know how much that is? If it's 17 million, that's 17 million times 17 million times a million is like $17 trillion, I think, something like that there. Then they're gonna do all that for you. They want to get rid of you. So now they have succeeded. Because they closed the border. And what you gonna do? You gonna fight to come out? They closed the border. They got the military around there. They finally got rid of you. No more black problem, no more Negro problem anymore. One group's out of here, another group that's here. They're gone, and our hands are clean. We gave them what they wanted. Well, anything. Okay. God honors contracts. Remember, he honored the contract with Jacob. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of soup to Jacob, which was Esau's inheritance, and God honored it. Okay, Jacob, it's yours. You're the one. And that's the deal. Because he ain't your friend. Pharaoh ain't your friend. Pray, pray, pray. That's the answer. This is homeland you was promised. You rejected it. So now you got what you asked for. So if they gave you reparations today or tomorrow, how would that scenario not play out like that? Well, they say, okay, you got it. Tell me how the scenario wouldn't play out like that. And tell me why they wouldn't do it. They love you so much, they're going to say, okay, we're going to take care of them. I mean, why should they go out their way to take care of you when you was right here? You was working at Popeyes and then they get up on Section 8, all that stuff right here, because you know they're trying to get rid of that stuff right now. Trump's trying to get rid of all that stuff right now. Because they're closing on you, you don't realize it. Anyway, that's just, that's what's happening over in America. Wow. Boys come here. Disaster over there. And I just got a call. Oh, wait, hold on. Really? You serious? Our ambassador just got a call from I don't know what they call it Conland or something. I forgot what it's something they call it right there. That 6th day. They're begging us to come and help. Can they come over here? Can we come and get them? Really? Can we come and get them and bring them? Oh no. Now he went and asked Master Farah Muhammad, right? He said, no, hell no. We ain't going to get them. And I agree with that. Yeah, the Master said he said, let's call him, and he passed the word to Master Farah Muhammad. Master Muhammad said, send him back. Master, no, we can't come and get you. You made your choice, live with it. Or die, whatever the situation is. Wow. I can't believe that. They actually, right, sent a message over. I don't know how they did. I don't have any communication with it. Somehow they got the information over to him. Said, we please come and get him. Nope. Said, no, tell him no. And don't waste time communicating with us anymore. You got your land. You got your reparations. You got your money. You got Farrakhan as your leader. Yeah, tell him. Talk to him. Let him straighten out for you. He didn't want to sell you the idea. He was a salesman. So you on that idea of reparations. We told you. Right? Suleiman, right? He was the messenger to you, telling you, look, man, let's go home. You said no. You chose not to. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's a sad story. But I guess that's it. Is that it? Oh, they're not getting more reports on Okay, he says that was Matthew Prophet Muhammad's final decision, and I think they closed communications off from there. So, like I said, brothers and sisters, we got those guys that came in. All that came in today, man. Came in fast. After a whole year, total collapse. Now they begging it. Somebody help them. We can't do it. Maybe Master help you. We won't do it. Assalamu alaikum. Update, brothers and sisters, got another late report in that they said, well, if you want to come and get us, well, we at least send them some food. They begged, said, please send us some food. Master Muhammad said, we got to send them a damn thing, nothing, zero. He said, please just send some food. No, I just got that in. He says, if you can't come and get us, please send us some food. He says, no. He refused. I said, boy, I just got the information from the ambassador. He said, they sent that, and he's read it to me. He says, no. He said, please, just please send us some food. He said, no, no way. You made your choice, case closed. Okay, just got that in, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.